Now he's a pound. Now he's 5. Feels like a decent fish. Ooh, controllable, better. Some chunk. Not bad. Oh yeah, they're gonna hammer it. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dennis, aka Big D, chilling in the garage, getting ready for fishing. We got about a foot of snow in my yard. It's terrible. Can't get any work done on the boats. I got a new trolling motor for the small boat. Got a spot lock motor guide. Just because I have a Minn Kota on the big boat, I want to try a motor guide. So I was getting that ready. So let's talk about some frogs. We're not going to talk about, what to use, line and all that lovely stuff. We're just going to talk about the frog itself and what different types of frogs do and what we could do to make a frog better. I'm a big frog guy. I have 4 frog rods. And they all serve a different purpose. And, I'm a big frog guy. I have, a lake that I love to frog fish. It's the way to catch the big fish. And it was the first lake I ever fished in a club tournament. Everybody was catching 8 pounds, 7 pounds, including myself. I had just started freshwater fishing, and there was other clubs that were coming in with 18 pounds, and I couldn't figure out why. And one day, I went out to try a couple things with a guy, a member of the club. His name was Frank, on his little porta boat, which was a pretty cool little boat. And we were throwing porcos. I don't know if you guys know what a porco is. They don't make them anymore. Porcos are a great bait. You could get them online, but we were throwing them over deep into the pads. I mean, this place is full of pads. We were throwing it deep into the pads, and I seen a fish come up that was probably about 8 to 9 pounds in New York. 8 to 9 pounds. I think it was a beast. And that's when the light bulb went off. We weren't catching them because the porco, if you know what that is, it's a 7-inch bait, and we were nose hooking it. There was no way they were going to get that through the pads, and that's where the frog fishing began. And I taught myself. I learned what to do, and I started tweaking and moving and this and that. My biggest fish still comes out of that lake. Probably my top 4 or 5 biggest fish in New York come out of that lake on a frog. Catching on a jig and stuff like that, but we're talking about frog fishing. So let's go. So let's look at two different and 2 of my favorite frogs. So yeah, this is the Spro King Daddy, I believe, and this is a Megabass frog. So what do we notice about these 2 things? These 2 frogs. Let's start with this frog. This frog, you could see, is keeled. If you could see, the belly is, it comes to a point. Stops. See that line right there? that means that it comes to a keel. Okay. Now, this is the best all-around frog I've ever used. Okay, you could walk the frog, you could hop the frog, walk the frog, do all the above. This frog always 97% of the time lands on its belly, and that's very important. Okay, one type of frog. Now the Megabass. So what do we know about the Megabass? See how it's flat on the bottom and has a cup face? This is a popping frog. It pops. It does a lot of things. You got to pay extra for the sound effects. All right. What I love about this frog, the best part about this frog is, if you look and you see these hooks, I don't know if you can see, we'll get up real close. You see how long that, it's not round and then a little, the points here. You see how long that point is? Before this starts to turn in their mouth, they're already speared. They're already, look how long that shank is. So you're going almost an inch plus deep before you get to the bend. This hook sticks them, man. This hook sticks them. Love this frog. We'll talk about that frog. Now we'll talk about this frog. This is a Molex frog. This frog is strictly, see how it only has one tail? We'll cut that tail. I'm not a big believer in tails. I hate tails on my frogs. Okay, you don't want them to eat the tail. You want them to eat the frog. Okay, you would much rather have them come up in the head, because you can rip the hooks right through them, than you would for them to come up behind the bait. That's way too long. So this is a walking bait. So these three frogs are all on different rods. Okay, different things. This frog, strictly open water. Okay, now we'll get back to that. We'll talk more. So let's talk about another type of frog that I like to throw. Well, it's not really a frog. It's you ever hear the lunker hunt spider? Great bait, great idea, terrible bait. Bait's junk. You cast it 10 times, it sinks 9 out of the 10. Can't have that. So this is what I came up with. I took a frog that floats, and I super glued that. This is a lunker hunt frog. Same company. So basically, between the frog and ripping the legs off the spider, this is about a $20 frog, but it's worth every penny. And this is strictly open water as well. And no, it doesn't represent the spider or a frog to me. This represents a dragonfly. You fish it, the legs make that wing type thing. Love this in certain situations. So now let's go back. Let's go back to the first frog. Okay. What do we do with this? What do I do with this frog? This frog is my heavy slop. This thing is, hold on, let me get a normal size frog. This is a normal size frog. The normal half-inch. Normal half-inch bait. Look at the size of our frog. This is the deal, man. The only thing bad I could say about this frog is you can't get a replacement hook for it. It's a 7/0 hook. I already contacted Spro, and they don't make hooks at this time. All right, so what do we do to this frog? This frog, the first thing I'm going to do, so I'm cutting the tails. Just leaving a little short out, or I'll pull them out altogether. Like that. And why do I do that? One, I don't want it to short strike. Short strike, no good. Okay, hit the bottom, no good. Second thing is, this always lays flat, right? The key of having this, and what you'll see in a lot of new frogs, I'll show you one later, is you want that hole. And if you're leaving the legs in, you want to take a pin and you want to burn a little hole in there. Why? You ever catch fish and all of a sudden, your frog's messed up, you squeeze it, the water squishes out? Okay, when you do this, when you have those holes, it's not going to fill up with water, or it might fill up with a little water. But what it does is every time you cast that frog, the water that's in there squirts out those holes. Right? It also allows it to compress. It's not compressing as good as it normally does now because I'm standing on my garage and it's 30 degrees out, so it's a little stiff. Oh, here's another quick tip. If your frog, if you leave it, it gets to form, boil it. And I'll boil my frogs even before they get, because it softens them up. Now you want to get to a point where they're soft, but they don't fall apart. So you want to be careful with the boiling, but it'll soften up your frogs. Okay. So now what do we do to this frog and all our frogs? Well, this frog especially. All right. The first thing I'm going to do, if you notice, is I'm going to take these, see how these hooks are up a little bit? I bent them up. I want to bend them up this way. When you go like this, you see they're not, normally these hooks lay down. You see how they're pointing up? That's going to really get a good hook set. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bend them out. A lot of people don't do that. You want to get a little bit wider spread on them, right? So you bend it out, you bend it out. I do that on all my frog hooks, okay? You'll catch 1,000 times better. Now, oh, by the way, I had these frogs painted. All right, this one. Painted in chartreuse. Why? Because I could see it. So all that matters, right? The frog is coming over the top. You want to be able to see the frog. A lot of people buy frogs. Like, here, we'll look at this frog, for instance. Lunga hunt frog, I believe. Never fished this frog. I don't, But here, look at the nice pattern. Look at the bottom. They buy it for the nice pattern up top. The fish never sees it. Never ever sees it. Okay? The frog lays like this. Why do you need that? That doesn't matter. Same thing with a Zara spook. Okay? I have a sponsor, Bass Tech Custom Baits. He paints baits. He painted that frog. I have him paint all my top waters upside down. The fish never sees the bottom of the top water. I don't get it. So this is the normal Spro frog, right? They're smart. They put the same pattern on the bottom that they did on the top. A lot of people don't do that. If you even think color matters, I do in certain instances. Okay, so you're coming over slack, it don't matter. They see a silhouette on the bottom, but it really doesn't matter until you come to an open area. So I had to paint this. Look, so you paint the look at the bottom. Nice bluegill pattern. Bass Tech Custom Baits. RJ. Good dude. Love it. But what we're going to do this frog. So now we already talked about it. We bent the hooks out. We bent them up. Heavy. This is a heavy slop frog. What do we want our frog to do? Right? Pull the legs out. You might, if you're leaving the legs in, you might want to put a hole. You take a hot pin. Nothing too big. Nothing too small. You stick it in there. This way, every time you cast, the water shoots out. You can even do it up top. It's never gonna get in the water. Okay, so we do all that. What do we need to do? First of all, this frog is 3/4 of an ounce. What's that noise? You want to put BBs in it. Okay. Depending on the frog, this frog, I put like 12 BBs in it. You don't want to put glass rattles. Glass rattles will break inside. Regular standard BBs. You get noise and more. Well, you also get casting distance because you have more weight. And the most important thing you get is this frog now lays in the slop. It doesn't go on top of the slop, it's in. So when you're bringing this over the top, you're leaving a trail. Why do you want to leave a trail? One is you can tell what you just cast because your trail's there. Second is the fish find it. If it's scooting over the top, they don't know where it is. If it's digging, dredging through, they get it. Very important. Extremely important on this frog or any heavy slop frog you're going to use. Heavy slop, okay? Not open water. Open water, you might not want as many BBs, right? You still want the noise, you still want the casting distance, even though with I use the Ardent Seaforce reel, I could throw this frog. I almost spool the reel. Okay, that's how far I throw this thing. All right, so there you go. So heavy slop frog, 8-foot rod, 70-pound, 55-pound braid. You want a broomstick, no bend, because you got to get them up and out. If you go frogging and you use a spinning reel, just shut this video off now. This is not for you. You can't frog with a spinning reel. I don't care what you say, what excuse you give. You can't do it. You can't have if you nail a 6 to 7 pound bass or even bigger, 4-pounder in heavy slop. You can't. That bail is not going to give you what you need. That bail flexes, you lost that fish. Period. I don't care if you're using saltwater gear. If that line isn't perfect on that bail, and that bail flexes, it's over. Pack it in. You're done. You want to whack up high, keep going. Okay. Next frog. We told you about the hook. Told the back. This is a different type of frog, right? There is no hole in the frog. There's just like that little. See that little thing in the back? That's where you put the skirt. So I'll pull it out. I'll cut it, whatever I want to do. I put that little hole in the back. Actually, I don't know if you could see it. You see right there. There is a hole in it. And that comes right. Could you see? Yeah, see that little hole right in the center over here? Oh, there you go. You can see now. That's standard for Megabass. Megabass does it themselves. So now the water will fly out of that every time you cast. Popping frog, you're looking for semi light vegetation to open holes and stuff like that. Popper frog isn't really good over heavy stuff because it'll flop. And well, what's good about this frog or most popper frogs is you could keep it in one spot for a long period of time to draw a strike. So I don't really fish a popper frog splash, 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 splash. Not for me. Okay. Although I tend to fish my frogs 10 times faster than most people. So that's what we do. Same thing as they always do. Hooks up, hooks out on every one. You could put BBs in there if you want. I want to put too many. You want to go halfway. That's pretty much it. Another thing, do not fish a frog with a clip. Straight tie. Always. Unless it's a total open water frog. Okay. Straight tie to a frog. Very important. That's why I have 4 frog rods. Because I can't clip and go and switch, and I'm always switching. People make fun of me because I have so many rods and reels. I carry like 30 with me when I fish. That's because I have 4 drop shot rods, 4 crankbait rods, 4 frog rods. It's not that it's so many techniques. It's the techniques I love, just different. So I don't have to change. Okay, let's move on. This is a Molex frog. This frog, same thing, up and out, right? This body is very soft. You cannot fish this in heavy stuff, and it's not made to fish in heavy stuff. This is the easiest frog to walk. You walk it just like a spook with ease. Bad part is you don't always hook them. That's why you go up and out. But this and I forgot the name of the Amakatsu frog, I believe it is, which is half the size of this, are the 2 easiest walking frogs. And once again, this frog, same thing, 55 to 70 pound Venom braid, the best casting, best braid I've ever used. Okay, and I'm not just saying that because I'm sponsored by Venom. I will not lie. And that's why I stay with companies I believe in. Venom braid, the best stuff ever. Love it. I cast about another 10 to 15 feet with it on a frog, which makes a big difference, right? And I'm ripping trees down, not a mark in the braid, okay? And it comes in white. I like white. I could see white, and then you color about 30 feet with a black Sharpie. Okay, so Molex. I am not sponsored by Molex. I'm not sponsored by Megabass, although I would love to be. And I'm not sponsored by Spro. Why do I mention the companies? Because they're the best. This is the best frog I've ever used. This is the best popping frog I've ever used. This is the best walking frog I've ever used. It's not about free stuff. It's not about that. It's about what is the best. Okay. Here's another Megabass frog I painted, right, to bluegill. Pretty cool pattern. Bass Tech Custom Baits. All right, so, and then you have your gadget stuff like the Molex Beetle. Like I said, the sound effects are extra. But I don't fish this that much. Okay, and then I showed you, I don't know. Look at this bad boy. So this is a Lunker Hunt mini frog, and with these stupid spider legs. So what I did is I bought the Lunker Hunt spider, which I hate because, like I said in prior videos, and I always say 9 out of 10 casts, it sinks. Listen, when I'm fishing, I'm not there to fool around. I'm there to fish. Everything has to be perfect. I'm there to fish. Cast, fish. I don't want to be messing with stuff, squeezing water out, blah, 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 blah. So what I did is I took the Lunker Hunt frog that I had, and the reason why I use it is because the belly's flat. And it's flat and pointed up. And then I ripped the legs off of the spider and I super glued it. So now this will float every time. And I don't think, to me, it doesn't represent the spider. Oh, I'll also, as always, cut the legs short, bend the hooks out and up. They're really small hooks. And then they had little trailer hooks that I might put one on because I use this open water. I don't know if you've ever seen them. It has the 2 wire things that go over the hook, and the hook sticks out of the back. Right? So what I think this represents is a dragonfly. You get that on top of water, and you just shake it, and it looks like a dragonfly that fell in the water, and his wings are going. And one of the best ways to catch the biggest bass in a lake frogging is to target dragonflies. They love dragonflies. They eat them. They're always underneath them. If you're fishing and you're not catching nothing and then you come to a little area where there's dragonflies all over the place, you're going to catch a fish. And you want to get them pumped up. Once you get one pumped up, it's one after the other after the other. It's just like if you're fishing offshore. You're going to find one area where the fish are congregate. Same thing with frogs. Same thing shallow. There's a reason why they're there, right? So, same thing as always. Bend them out, bend them up. Hole in the back, right? Very important. Okay. Now I'm going to give you, I can't believe I'm going to give you this, but this is the biggest secret in frog fishing, okay? In my opinion. There'll be days where they're missing the frog, they blow up, they're slapping at it, you'll see them come out, they'll roll on it, or you know they're there. And technically this happens, in my opinion, in cloudy weather. Normally cloudy weather, they don't, for some reason, they don't commit. Even if you use a black frog for silhouette, I've had my best days frog fishing, 95 degrees, blaring, sun. My wife makes fun of me because my wife came with me one day, and my wife is this little blonde, fair-skinned German girl, and I'm a big dude. Well, you can see I'm a big guy, and I literally fished 14 hours, never had a drink, just 95-degree weather, zoned. I just love frog fish. But here we go. I like to fish, period. But give me a frog, a drop shot, and a crankbait. I'm good. Okay. Biggest secret. This is killer, man. And I only use this frog because this is one of the only companies that make this frog. And what's so special about this frog? Ugh, this is painful. Clear frog. When they're missing it, go to this, and it's game on. There's times I'm fishing, and I'm fishing a colored frog, chartreuse, white, bluegill, black, red, whatever color you want to throw, and the action's slow. And then you put this bad boy on, and party's over, man. They just destroy it. It's the same thing. You have old school guys or maybe new school guys. You ask them, "What's your favorite color?" Zara Spook in clear water. Clear. You don't want the fish to see it, the bait. You want the fish to attack the motion. They get it. For some reason, I don't know why. I'm not a fish. I'm not a biologist. They just do. I see what happens, and they do it. So that's pretty much it, man. In ending, we should all pray for Texas. They're going through some bad stuff that New Yorkers, we're used to snow. Texans aren't. They're not prepared for it. Well, instead of just praying for Texas, why don't we just pray every day? Find the big guy upstairs. He's your best friend. I always say that because he's my Lord and Savior. I love him. Doesn't make me perfect, but makes you a better person. Not better than anybody else, but better for yourself. And that's pretty much most of the things in frog fishing. Just remember, keep the lake short. Don't think you got to frog fish slow. Put the hole in the butt so the water comes out. If your frog is too stiff, boil it. If your frog deforms, boil it. One frog isn't good for everything, but if I had to pick one frog, Spro King Daddy could do it all. Colors matter, but not as much as we think. Clear frogs, kill it in certain times. Always have a clear frog ready to go, because it's the same thing like a chatterbait. There's when a chatterbait's on, it's on. You know what I'm saying? Hole in the back, hooks bent up, not too far up, but bent up and bent out. Bend them out, very important. Don't use spinning. Set the hook as hard as you can. Keep the fish out of the weeds. Always have a backup flipping stick with a plastic bait, because sometimes the frog, they'll miss the frog. It's very rare that they come back again. And if you do try to catch them with a frog again, do not cast to where they blew up. Cast past where they blew up. Right? Very important. Bring it back over. They'll make a hole. You'll know where it was. And we have the BBs in there, so we have the trail, right? So we could tell where we cast it. Set the hook, braid, open water frogs. You want to use a copolymer. Or you could color the braid, whatever floats your boat. And you want to use lighter braid. Not all frogs are created equally. There's popping frogs, slop frogs, walking frogs, and then I call gimmick frogs. The spider, the beetle, the frogs with the whopper plopper tails. Those are gimmick frogs. They work, but they're not really technically a frog. Then you got other stuff like the spoons, which I use all the time. But that's pretty much it. So braid, long stick, no spinning, and that's about it. God bless you all. Thank you for watching. I hope it helped you. If you don't, if the intro to this video is too long, any other video I make, the intro lasts about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So you could just go to 2:40 and listen to me ramble on. Once again, God bless you. Pray every day. Enjoy your life. And that's pretty much it. Have a good day. Thank you to my sponsors as always. God bless you. Have a good day.